What's up? It's your boy Vibes by Bray because I'm always bringing you the good vibes, and you're tuned in to in 5678 the podcast where we discuss everything dance industry related beyond the steps.
You're tuned into in 5678 the podcast with Vibes by Bray, only on YouTube, broadcasted by Riverside.fm.
Y'all, I'm super excited about this episode today because we have choreographer and instructor Keenan Cooks.
Hey,
What's up, Keenan? How's it going today?
I am good. A little jet lag, but I'm all right. I'm in Europe right now. I am in Brussels. Had some rehearsal today, but we good. We in good spirits.
Okay, well, first and foremost, thanks for sitting with me today.
Of course.
First and foremost, can you just go ahead and give us a brief introduction of who Keenan is?
Ooh, I'm Keenan Cooks. I am a choreographer instructor. I am originally from Boston, Massachusetts. I moved to New York in 2008. I've been there ever since. Yeah, I've been like super fortunate in my career to work as a dancer, to work as a dance instructor, and as a choreographer as well. Right now, I am the choreographer for Ice Spice for her Y2K World Tour, and yeah, that's me.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your dance training and experience growing up?
Yeah, so my mom was a dancer, and that's kind of like just naturally was like the trajectory for me. Like when I was 3 to like 5 years old, I used to be at all her rehearsals, just watching them. So naturally, like what she wanted to do, what she did is what I wanted to do. So I didn't really grow up in the studio. I just was like out here in the streets dancing. When I was 14, I started going to a performing arts high school, and there was a dance group that was being formed there called Golden Kids. And that was like my first like intro into like being on a team and like having rehearsals every week and things like that. That same year, I also started going to a performing arts high school. So a lot of people don't know that I have like ballet training, modern, tap, jazz, all that stuff. And then I graduated and I moved to New York for college. I was a dance major for like 2 weeks. I quickly realized that like concert dance wasn't what I wanted to do. So I switched my major to comm arts and I would just like take class outside of my school. So I would make my schedule so I had time to take classes. So I was like taking like this was like back in the day New York. So I was like taking Cheryl Murakami, I was taking Luam, I was taking Rhapsody, I was taking Neil, Jared Grimes, Jermaine Brown, like all those people. In 2011, I did Rhapsody's Motivating Excellence program. And that's kind of where I learned a lot about the commercial world and things like that. Was still training. In 2013, I got signed to an agency, and then kind of from there, my life kind of took off.
Yes. So, how did the dance community differ when you moved to New York? How was that transition for you?
For me, it was shocking, but also motivating. Not to toot my own horn, but like when I was younger, like I thought that I was the boy. Like in Boston, nobody was better than me. When I moved to New York, it was like a culture shock because I was very aware. Like right away, I'm a very aware person, like very like aware of my surroundings. I noticed right away that I wasn't at the caliber of these people in these classes. So for me, it was very. Oh, sorry, my my photo booth is doing crazy things, but it made me very aware that I needed to be at a certain caliber living out here, and it very quickly like made me train differently. Like it made me want to be better because I'm like, dang, everybody here is so good and so professional. Even the people who maybe aren't that great are still really good. So the intense like community and the intense training and how serious everybody was about dance really inspired me to want to be better.
Yeah, I had a very similar experience. So I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia,
Okay.
and I moved to Atlanta. And
Mhm.
being from Richmond, like there was only a handful of us that was dancing, so it was easy to open up for these shows or the local artists. It was easy for them to pick from us to dance. So when I got to Atlanta, I was like, "Oh, I'm so not used to this." So it pushed me to get into more classes, train, build a network, get mentors, so I definitely resonate with that because I definitely experienced that myself, making that transition from Virginia to Atlanta.
Yeah, it's like a big culture shock, and like
Yeah,
either like you are inspired by it or it really scares you.
exactly.
Yeah.
Especially being that, as you may know, the industry can be a little intimidating. So,
For sure.
coming from a smaller community of dance and then moving to somewhere like New York or like Atlanta, it can get a little overwhelming if you're not prepared for it. But if that's what you want to do and you want to push through, then you'll make that avenue and start putting yourself out there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so how did you get started um, as a choreographer?
Such a loaded question. I feel like the path of a choreographer is so different than like a dancer because like you could fall into the opportunity or it could take years upon years upon years. But I think like ever since I was younger, like you asked my mom, I was like, I want to be a choreographer before I even knew what it was, like what it technically took to do that. Like I
Mhm.
knew that I love to create, I love to create movement. I love to see that movement on people. Like as a kid, I love that. So I think it started there. When I was in Boston, I just didn't really have those like industry type of opportunities. Not even a lot of like master classes and workshops and things like that we had in Boston, like during the time that I was there. So me and my friends and my small community, we used to before they were called concept videos, we used to call them demos. Like we used to call them demos because we didn't know like the term concept video. So I used to just create these videos and I started teaching like open classes in Boston. I didn't have any business teaching at the time, but like I just had this creativity inside of me. And what happened was like from, I want to say like 2011 to like maybe even before that, maybe like 2007, 2008 to like 2013, my YouTube channel was really big. Like I was
Mhm.
making these videos and they were getting a lot of views and things like that. So I was like, wait, maybe I'm onto something. So I really just like kept like making these videos and teaching and creating. But then when I got to New York, again, I kind of realized that like what I was doing in Boston was not of the caliber of what was happening in the industry. So I really took time to like train. And as I began to train, I started to develop my style a little bit more, honestly. Um, and then for me, it was really about planting seeds. Once I
Mhm.
felt like I was in a good place stylistically, I started to let people know what I wanted. So when I was doing Rhapsody's Motivating Excellence program, I'm like, I really want to choreograph. I really want to teach. Once I started to make relationships with different people, I was always letting them know I want to choreograph, I want to teach because in my brain, I'm like, the opportunity is going to come one day.
Exactly.
Um, but during that time, I just kept grinding. I was teaching, I was creating content, I was making videos, I was teaching. I just kept doing it like clockwork, but like I was putting a lot into my concept videos just to show people what I was really capable of. And then I think I want to say my big break I got in 2016 when I started choreographing for Cardi. I was her first choreographer. I did her first two award show performances, and I did her tour.
Mhm.
Um, but even in 2016, I don't think that I was like ready yet. I think I was just thrown this opportunity, and I was doing what I needed to do to get by. Because I think the misconception is that a choreographer is just someone who creates steps, and there's so much more to the job. But if I had to say like a big break moment, I think it was 2016. And honestly, like the Cardi situation, I don't want to say it fell through, but like I had it for a year and then I did it. And then I just took that time to really grind and like figure out what type of choreographer I wanted to be. I started assisting people a lot more so I could like get more information on how to run a room. So I assisted Luan with Kelly Rowland. I assisted her with she did Black Girls Rock. We did Ari Lennox. I assisted Jamel with Lizzo, so I did some stuff for Lizzo's tour, and I did some stuff for her Made in America performance. I assisted another choreographer, Danny Vital, with J Balvin. I also was getting opportunities on my own. So I just wanted to make sure I was ready, make sure I was ready, make sure I was ready. And then 2019, I got the opportunity to start doing movement coaching for Ice when she like first started, and then that just kind of like grown into like where we are now.
Yes, I love to hear that you took the time to plant the seeds for
Mhm,
what it is that you wanted to do because that's
mhm.
very important and it's about networking and also just making sure that you're putting yourself out there in the most authentic way so that people will trust you enough to be able to give you these opportunities and allow you to grow.
Absolutely. Like I'll never forget. I was talking to Luan one day in the faculty lounge at BDC, and I was like, like I'm really like I want to get to this next step in my career where I'm able to like run these rooms and run these spaces, but like I still feel like I have a lot to learn. Like I want to get the opportunity this time and have it and take it and let it be mine, but like I haven't gotten the opportunity to be in these rooms yet to assist these people to do these things. And she was like, well, you need to let people know what you want. And like, I knew that already because I was already doing it. But like, there was something that was like not telling the right people what I wanted. And I remember that day, like I told her, I was like, well, you know what? I would love to assist you. Like, on any jobs or anything that you see fit for me, because I would like to make that transition from dancer to choreographer. And she hired me the next week.
Yeah, see, and I tell people this all the time. If you just go out on a limb and just ask for it is what you want, it's only a few things that can happen. Someone can either say yes, no, or not respond. And that's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. I think there has to be tact. You have to know the time and the place. But if you know the person and you know the place and it feels like the right time, do it. Because the worst that somebody could say is no. And in this journey in this industry, you're gonna hear no so many times that you get used to it. But at least like you're putting yourself in a space that can ultimately get you an opportunity or hopefully get you an opportunity.
Yeah. So earlier you mentioned that you did a lot of training so that you could, figure out your own personal style when it comes to dancing and choreographing.
Mhm.
How would you describe your style?
Ooh, I feel like my style is very full out, but it still has clarity and cleanliness. So it's like this clean, full out, hard hitting. There's a little bit of sass in there. But yeah, it kind of encompasses all those things. But then there's also a bit of variety in there too. Like I feel like people expect me to be one way, but I can like totally give you something else. So I feel like it's full out, it's clarity. There's a little bit of like androgyny in it because it can go both ways if you want it to. And yeah, variety too.
Okay, so you had the opportunity recently to be a part of one of the biggest, in my opinion, one of the biggest, newest dance shows on Netflix,
Uh-huh.
Dance 100.
Yes, yes.
Yes, so can you walk us through that process? Like, how was that experience for you?
I always tell people it was the best and the worst experience of my life. I think for me, I've been doing this for a really long time. Like for those who follow me and know that like I've been grinding since 2011, like doing it, like teaching everywhere, dancing everywhere, putting on pieces, doing all these things. And I just wanted the opportunity to show what I could do on the largest scale ever. Like I just knew that I needed the opportunity. I knew that I was capable. I just needed the opportunity. And I feel like the show did that for me. It gave me the opportunity to create on the largest stage with the biggest amount of people with the biggest budget. And I think that it was something that I needed to prove to myself. It really had nothing to do with anybody else because I'm in my head a lot. So that it was amazing for that reason. I think we can probably figure out why it maybe wasn't the best. Just the structure of the show, although it's what made me want to be a part of it, it
Mhm.
also kind of made it kind of like, um,
Right.
but I think just being able to showcase my work and not just my work, but my personality and just who I am as a person on the biggest streaming platform in the world, like there's nothing like it. To this day, like it's weird. Even different countries that I'm in, people still recognize me. I'm still getting jobs and offers and brand deals and stuff because of that show. So it was amazing. I think also just like working with 100 people, like when do you get that opportunity, you know?
Right.
And I think the show was really like a sink or swim kind of thing for me. It was like even if I wanted to doubt myself, we, like the other 8 choreographers, if we wanted to doubt ourselves, you couldn't because there just wasn't time. You had to make it happen no matter what it was.
Yeah, of course, we only see like so much on our end, but from the outside looking in, I definitely enjoyed what they did show about your creative process, and then
Yeah.
just seeing you bring everything to life. I was amazed. Every episode I watched, I'm like, okay, what can he do? Like, I just love seeing the development of everything. So definitely congratulations on even having that opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think, again, like speaking about when you asked me about my style and I said variety, although I do feel like sometimes they was trying to send my ass home, I feel like what they ultimately did was show how versatile I could be. I think like we had what Opale by Rosalia, which I was able to like show so many different styles. Then we had like the Outcast thing, was a song that I didn't really enjoy, but I was still able to pull something out. Then we had the dance hall piece that was my favorite, and then we had the lyrical one. So like I was really able to stretch myself artistically, but then I was also able to show that I could like literally do anything that is like brought my way. So it was really dope.
Now, when you are faced, and not just with the show, but just in general, when you're faced with a song that you don't really feel motivated by, where do you pull from?
I think for me, I start thinking differently. Like, obviously, the first thing you want to do is make a cute step. Like, that's the first thing you want to do is just, like you want to hit it. You want to make the step. You want to make the moment. But like, if you're not feeling it, it's like, how else can I get me across? How else can I get my vibe across? How else can I bring out the song, even if I'm not enjoying it? So it's like, am I staging it differently? Am I like maybe manipulating the way that you normally see something? It's about thinking of different creative ways for me to be inspired by it. Because, yeah, you're going to get songs that you don't like. You're going to maybe have to do something that you don't want to do, but like you want to have to get the job done. And then I just, for me, it's like, how can I challenge myself creatively? So I'm less thinking about, oh, I hate this song, but more thinking about how can I bring the song to life and make not only myself like it, but other people too.
Okay, now on the show, you shared that at a young age you were diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Yes.
So, can you talk us through that experience and how that helped you continue to push yourself as the creator that you are?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I want to say like 6, 7, 6, 7. I used to have really like bad migraines, like so bad. And it was just so weird to be so young and that to happen. So my mom took me to the doctors, obviously, just to figure out like what it was and how we could treat it. I ended up getting an MRI and they found the tumor. Um, the craziest thing about it is I didn't really get into this on the show is I didn't find out that I was having surgery until the day of.
Wow.
So it was like I still think about it to this day. It was really crazy. Like I found out that day and then it just kind of happened. I was told that there were like because the tumor was on my pituitary gland, it kind of affected like my growth a little bit, but it was also like, there's a chance that you may be immobile, like you won't be able to move or you won't be able to dance or you won't be able to do these things. And just as a kid, I was always like super strong and like strong minded and strong willed. So I was just like, well, that's crazy because like what I want to do with my life is move. Like there's no way that that can happen, you know?
Right.
So I think just going through recovery, like I want to say from 8 to 17, I was like dealing with the effects of that. And a lot of people didn't know. I was having seizures, I was taking medicines, in and out the hospital and things like that. But for me, it was like I had this goal. I didn't want to be a sick person, let alone dance, like leave dance aside. I didn't want to be a sick person. But then on top of that, I knew that I wanted to dance. So I was going to do what I needed to do to make it happen. And I did something really crazy. I don't suggest anybody does do this, but I felt like the medicine that I was taking was making me sick. So I stopped taking it. which is crazy. Like, which is crazy. I don't recommend. No one do that, but it made me feel better, and I just worked myself up, and now I'm here. But I think with the tumor and that whole situation, what it really did for me is it made me appreciate everything. Like people are always like, bro, you're always smiling, you're always happy. Like, why is that? Because I wasn't supposed to be here. Like I
Mhm.
was told to my face that this was not supposed to be my reality. So any chance that I get to be out, to dance, to teach, to choreograph, like I'm gonna grab the moment and take it and run with it because this was not supposed to be my reality.
Now, when I hear success stories like this,
Mhm.
I always tell people there's literally no excuse.
There's no
Like
excuse.
if you can push through and just do the things that you want to do, no matter what that goal is, just do it. Like, don't be lazy. Don't make any excuses for it because there are people who have stories like yourself. I met someone else who had been battling lupus for years, and she just got a kidney. But all through her journey, and she shares this all the time as well. But all through her journey, she continued to dance. She was choreographing in the hospital, still making a way to make her dreams her reality. So, thank you for sharing that.
Of course. I think it's so important because so many like little things happen throughout a day or happen throughout your journey, and you're like, oh, I can't do it. Oh, this is enough. I'm like, bro, I almost was not about to be able to move. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, I met this girl, a really good friend of mine, one of my best friends from college, and her mom had the same exact tumor that I had, but her mom is paralyzed from the neck down.
Hmm.
So there's no way that I could live my life with any excuse, knowing that my whole reality
It could have been different. Yeah.
could have been so different. Yeah,
Well, thank you again for sharing that.
of course, of course.
Now, this next segment, so I create a little this or that. So
Okay,
you can explain your choices if you choose, or
okay,
you can just choose them. So what I did was I created list of list of iconic dance videos, and
okay.
I want you to pick which one you like better.
Oh,
Of course, they're iconic. It's going to be a little hard, so we're going to get right into it, okay? So
okay,
the first one, I'm starting off strong, okay?
okay.
Michael Jackson, Smooth Criminal, or Thriller?
Ciao. I'm gonna say Thriller.
Okay.
Thriller because like to this day, like take the dancing out of it, like the red jacket, iconic. The
Yeah.
makeup, iconic. Like everybody, it don't matter like who you are in the world, everybody knows. Go. Like you know it. So Thriller down.
Yeah. Okay. Cardi B and Meg, WAP or Bongos?
WAP.
WAP. Okay.
WAP. I think for me, WAP has a little bit more nostalgia because we were in the pandemic. This thing popped up. I was like, I feel like that was one of the first times that you saw like Cardi like hitting a step down with Meg,
Mhm.
like WAP for sure.
Okay. Chris Brown, Run It or
Mhm.
Wall to Wall?
Wall to wall. I don't even think there's an explanation there. Wall to wall.
Yeah. No explanation needed. Normani, Wild Side or Motivation?
Um, personally, I'm gonna say motivation.
Okay. That was
Motivation.
really nostalgic,
Yeah,
though.
it was nostalgic. It was like your first time seeing her out, and Mama came hitting. Like she came hitting, but I think also the references in motivation, like for all us 90s babies, like
Hmm.
we understood the vibes.
All right, last one. Victoria Monet on My Mama or All Right?
Oh my mama.
Yeah.
Oh my mama.
Okay.
All right, eats down, but like it's just a pocket. Oh my mama, is just that pocket is like nasty.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Mhm.
Alrighty, so before we get into our next segment, I do
Okay.
want to take the time to shout out my sponsors. So on each and every episode, I wear 5678 apparel from Kata Co. Kata Co is a streetwear for dancers that has joggers, hats, sweatshirts, whatever you name, they have it on there. You can use my discount Braven to get 10% off of your order of $25 or more on their website, and make sure you all check out their Instagram at Kata_co. All right, Keenan. Now, this is the moment we've all been waiting for.
Oh, what moment is this?
This is this is where the curtains close and the spotlights come off.
Oh.
Let's get to the point.
Ooh.
Alrighty. So today I want to talk to you about creating your own lane as a choreographer.
Mhm.
So first and foremost, who or what were some of your biggest influences growing up?
Um, for me, I was super inspired by I feel like I don't know if anyone's even ever said this before because people are like Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, da, 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 da.
Mm,
But my first inspiration and the whole reason why I wanted to start dancing was TLC. Um,
mm,
I saw their performance on the VMAs 1995. Crazy Sexy Cool performance. It was just the three of them. They were on this Crazy Sexy Cool sign and they were just dancing down. Like, so for me, that was like my first time being like what they're doing right now, like I want to do that. Like I used to just sit and rewind and play that tape over and over and over again. And then in terms of like choreographers growing up, like Fatima Robinson was somebody who I loved and looked up to just for the range. Like remember the time to like Aaliyah Try Again, like so iconic and so like different and so
mm.
span to think from like remember the time to like Beyonce Renaissance. Like, are you crazy? Like I was so and still am so inspired by her. But like as one of my first inspirations as a choreographer, definitely her. I think like as I started to like grow into my own artistry and even now, I think Jaquel Knight is somebody who I really admire, love him as a person. I think outside of just what he does like choreographically, like Single Ladies, Body by Meg, like all that stuff, just like the philanthropy that he does within the dance community, like his foundation during the pandemic, he gave dancers checks and he did meals and he gave dancers sneakers. Like I think it's so important that once you get to that space that you're able to give back to the community that like made you who you are. So definitely like TLC, Tima Robinson, Jaquel.
All right, absolutely. So earlier you mentioned that you're currently the choreographer for Ice Spice.
Yes.
Now, how did you step into that role?
Um, so I think I was able to step into this role because I learned a lot from the last time that I was choreographing on a camp. Um, I think I learned a lot about how to speak with an artist. I learned a lot on how to teach an artist. I learned a lot how to cultivate a relationship with an artist. So when I first came in to Isis camp, I was a movement coach because at the time she was like just coming into performing, so she just wanted somebody to, you know, elevate what she was doing, and it was just that. But that allowed us to like really cultivate a relationship and to really like know each other and know how she works and she understands how I work, and we're able to just have a vibe. Over the years, that turned into me being the choreographer because she trusted me. She knew my vision. She saw Dance 100, so she knew like what I was capable of. But I think a lot of it just had to do with comfortability. Like she was comfortable with me, and I pushed her, but I pushed her enough. Like I
Yeah.
knew her limits. I knew what she was trying to do. I wasn't trying to turn her into anybody. I was like, let's take Ice's brand, let's take Ice's vibe, and let's elevate it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want you to be anybody else, and I know you don't want to be nobody else. So how can we take what you naturally do already and elevate it? And I think once she saw that we were on the same vibe and like I'm on your team, like I'm not trying to have you do anything more than what you need to do for your brand. That's how I was able to be locked in with that.
So, speaking of that, how do you make sure that what you come up with matches her unique style and her music?
I listen. I listen. Like I think everything that you need to know, everything that you want to know is in the music. You don't need to do more or less than that. But then I also listen to the artist that I work for. You know, I know what she likes. I know what she doesn't like. I know what she might like that she don't know that she like yet. You know.
Yep.
Um, So it's like all those things allow me to create what the Ice brand is now. So now you see her, she's doing a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Like BET, we were able to do a little dance break, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really about listening and then being like, cool, I see that, but like I see this for you, and really selling that, you know? But again, not straying too far away from what her brand is and the vibe that she gives.
What has been the most challenging routine that you've created for her?
I think for her, it was probably the fat butt that we did for BET.
Mhm.
Because Ice has never done like a dance break before, but I was like, look, I got you. You trust me. I trust you. Like, let's do this. So I feel like for her, it was just something new. I don't even want to say it was hard, but it was something new. And I felt accomplished because I'm like, you can dance, you can do it. Let's just
Mhm.
do it. So I think that was probably the hardest for her. I think for the dancers, the routine that I have right now for Thank You to Shift for tour, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
A bit much. But I think it calls for that because the song has so much energy. So we had to give that energy right back.
So shifting gears a little bit, um, in general, how do you keep your choreography fresh and innovative?
I feel like I try not to do the same thing, you know? Like it's easy to just do what's in your body, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to push myself all the time. Even like if I'm stepping out of like choreographer realm and I'm just stepping into like me being a teacher, I'm constantly like, okay, naturally, or my body may do this, but like, fuck, like, what if I did this? Like, you know, like I'm constantly just trying to push like my movement. And if I'm
Mhm.
able to push my movement, then I feel like it will be presented differently. I also love to play with formations and I love to play with opposition and things like that. So it allows me to like not just keep the choreography one dimensional. Like if you get into this tour that Ice is on right now or come to a show or something, you'll see that things are constantly moving and it allows me to think about movement differently too. Cause I'm like, how can we get from here to here
Mhm.
without
Yeah.
just walking, you know? So I'm constantly just like trying to elevate what I naturally do. So it's just not stale and it's not the same.
Okay, yes, okay, I love that. So, how do you balance between following the current dance trends and staying unique to your true style?
I guess it's nods and things because like I'm old. I'm like I guess for dancer age I'm old. Like I'll be 34 in August, so I'm like not up on trends anyway. But
Mhm.
ISIS dancers are younger, so I'm always like, what's the little thing right now? So
What's
like
this little, yeah, what's the little movie I'll be doing?
y'all be doing. So it's like cool. Like I'm always gonna stay true to me and what I do, but like throw a little nod in there. And then again, the artist that I'm currently working for is younger as well. So she's like, I'm gonna send you this because I like this thing. So like I'm always kind of like having my ear to the street a little bit, but not
Mhm.
so much so that I'm so heavily influenced by it. But again, if you want to stay current and you want to stay in the know, you do have to like get a little piece. So I'm like constantly just like fishing for a little bit, you know, and not being inspired by the trend because if you are the trend when the trend is over, you're nothing,
Right.
you know.
Now, what's your approach to working with dancers that may be on different skill levels?
um I guess that depends on the situation.
Mhm.
Like if it's a job, most of the time if it's a job I'm in control of, everybody gonna be on the same level.
Right.
But you know, sometimes you get to a studio and maybe you're teaching a class that's on a different level, or I teach on so many conventions and these rooms are on different levels. And I think it's about creating an atmosphere that feels nice, even if I'm pushing you. Because if you're enjoying the space, and maybe it's a little difficult, you'll fight a little harder because you enjoy where you are. I think just being mean and drilling and yelling, it doesn't help a space. So I think when you're teaching people of a different level, I think it's just creating a nice environment and then everyone is enjoying, and even the people who are maybe fighting a little bit harder, they feel the vibe in the room and it feels encouraging and it feels nice. So it makes them fight harder too.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what does a typical rehearsal with Keenan look like?
So I got my little warm up R&B playlist. I give everybody their time to warm up. We talk about what's on the agenda today. So, for instance, we are currently in Brussels because we're on the last stop of ICE's European leg, but we have to add some new songs to the tour. So, today I'm like, look, we got to finish these 3 songs in 5 hours
Mm,
and then we're gonna get it done. So we go song by song, and I'm teaching, I'm like figuring things out. Because most of the time I don't want to like fully choreograph everything because sometimes the magic is like what happens in the moment, but I also don't want to be unprepared. So I'm like locking in, making sure I remember what I remember, but I'm looking around, seeing if there's any mistakes happening that may be cool, or seeing what's happening in the room naturally. And then we gonna full out, baby. Like I don't play those games. We gonna full out. We gonna make sure this thing is clean. We gonna do it a lot. um, so my dancers have a joke that I'm always saying full out, and that is what I'm saying. Like I want to see that thing full out. But honestly, in the midst of our work and the hard work that we do, I'm like also again creating and cultivating a great environment because I feel like it's easier for people to work hard when they're enjoying what they're doing.
exactly. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
What changes have you seen in like the music and choreography relationship? And how do you foresee that relationship being in the future
With me or just in general?
in general?
I feel like choreography and music go hand in hand. I feel like now more than ever, people are realizing the value in a choreographer and dancers. Like your song may or may not be pushed depending on if we mess with it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like before it was just like, yeah, dancers are bottom of the barrel. We can get them $2 and it's okay. It's like now we are the reason why you have a hit or not. So I feel like people are really starting to see the value in dancers. Like you saw Victoria Monet shout
Yep.
out Sean on the BET Awards. I just saw a video where Dua Lipa shouted out Charm. Ice just did an
Yeah,
interview.
I was going to say, she just shouted you out,
What I'm
period.
so I'm like even more like the artists are starting to see our value and talk about it, which makes the world see the value and talk about it. And I feel like it's only going to escalate and it's going to get higher. And dancers and choreographers are going to be paid more, and we'll be able to sustain the same way celebrities do. That's where I hope that it goes because we do just as much work as they do. We put in just as much effort as they do. We are sometimes just as important as they are. So I really see the relationship between the two growing into something lucrative for us.
I'm super glad that artists are starting to use their platform to
Mhm.
express how important that dancers and their choreographers have been for their development and the push of their music, because that's not a trend that you have seen often at all. So the fact that they're starting to come out and speak about it is exciting because, like you said, that can create more opportunities for us and allow people to see that we are just as important as the artist that's performing.
Absolutely. There and like even now we're becoming household names. Like how many choreographers do like regular people know? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like know their names, and that is something like 10 years ago that was not happening. So again, like choreography and music, like you asked, I feel like they are becoming one of the same, and it's really allowing us to elevate our industry even more. And it's allowing us to be able to fight for more because now these camps and these labels see our value.
Yeah, I definitely think that it would be dope if there could be some kind of dancers awards, like how you have the BET awards and the hip hop awards. I haven't really thought about exactly how it would go, but I think that that would just be amazing just to have a night to celebrate the choreography that are in movies and music videos, TV shows, commercials. Like it's just so much on a larger scale that people don't know. So if we could actually get something like that to celebrate, I think that that would be really dope, and I think it would be received well, especially from um, the a choreographer's perspective.
Yeah. They have the choreography awards in LA, but I just feel like it's not as I don't want to say big. I don't because I don't want to shit on it because I think it's an amazing thing. I just
Mhm.
feel like it's not as like notarized and like as widespread as it should be. You know what
Right,
I
that's news to me. I didn't even know that that was a thing.
I feel like it definitely needs to be, it should be a bigger thing because these choreography in movies and commercials and videos is like some of it is so iconic that people know it and revisit it and those type of things.
Mhm.
So I think it definitely is something that needs to be a little bit more widespread and bigger. Yeah.
Agreed, agreed. So, do you have any projects or upcoming collaborations that you can talk about that you're excited about?
Yeah, well, I'm obviously super excited about the Y2K World Tour. We are wrapping up in Europe right now, and then we start the US leg on the 30th. All choreographed by me, which is crazy. I'm
Yes,
super excited about it because I really feel like it's probably such a elevated version of ice that people haven't seen before. So I'm really excited about that. I just recently started working with an artist. Her name is Wayani. She was on top four on American Idol.
Mhm.
She's releasing some music and music videos and things coming soon. And I was able to work with her on some things that I'm super excited about. Um, and yeah, something is coming up within the next week or so that I can't say yet, but it's going.
Okay, well, we'll definitely be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to all of that.
Yeah.
Now, lastly, what advice would you give to an aspiring choreographer?
Um, bank on yourself. Count on yourself. Believe in yourself. Um, Coming up in this industry, I didn't have a mentor. And when I was coming up, it felt like the end of the world. It felt like nobody believed in me and it's never gonna happen for me. But like one thing about me with my Leo ass is I believed in myself wholeheartedly. And there was no way that you were gonna tell me that I wasn't gonna be an amazing dancer, choreographer, teacher. And I did all three and I'm still doing all three. So if no one else believes in you, believe in yourself. The vision that you see for yourself can absolutely happen. You just have to work hard for it.
Absolutely. Well, Keenan, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule because, like you said, you're in Europe. So I definitely appreciate you taking the time to be able to sit and talk with me today. Can you tell everybody where they can find you on all social media platforms?
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, at Ayo Keenan, and then YouTube is just youtube.com/Keenan Cooks. I put all my work on there, all my contact information is on there. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Alrighty, well, that concludes this episode of N5678 the podcast. It's your boy Vibes by Bray. Please be sure to follow me on all social media platforms at Vibes by Bray and stay updated at N5678 podcast for all of our latest updates and episodes. Here's your daily reminder to always dance like nobody's watching and love like it's never gonna hurt. Again, shout out to Katico Streetwear for Dancers, Ranger Worldwide LLC, and Felicity Digital Lab. Until next time, y'all.
5, 6, 7, 8.